What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? What's happening? K-Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405 where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be so kind to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. So share this out because I got a lot to say. Yeah, so I kind of want to tie in what I want to talk about with the whole Adam Sessler situation, but I feel like the Adam Sessler situation needs to be talked about on a podcast so I can hear what everybody else has to say. Also, there was something that I was going to do. I was just going to kind of, for the topic that's at hand, I wanted to kind of show some of the responses and things like that. But no, I'm not going to be messy. I'm not going to be messy at all. And you know what I'm saying? We'll keep these people under wraps. So I won't, just for reasons, but I'm going to read some of the stuff that they've said though. So, because my whole thing about this is there is this divide. It's always been a divide in a sense, right? Like it's never really been like it's completely been unified. Everything has been 100% kumbaya, as they would say on Xbox, through the Xbox community. There's always going to be those people that has this, as people like me would say, a doom and gloom approach. There's other people that will say that people that look at me that's more optimistic would say that we're criticizing those people that are saying that they're just wanting to see Xbox get better, or that they want being letting people know that Xbox is not perfect. They shouldn't be condemned by that, which I totally agree with. Like, Xbox is not perfect, and I totally get it. And for certain things that the Xbox gets scrutinized, it should be. I mean, if you have never followed the podcast, the GRG podcast, for sure check it out, because I'm not always kumbaya about Xbox. I mean, I understand that, but like I said, I'm a glass half full type of guy. I'm always optimistic about everything. It's just the way that I've just been built up. Like, it's just, even when things doesn't look the best and things seem bad and out of touch. What's going on, Reggie Lee? Hey, what's happening, Slayer? What's going on? Thank you. Get this work. What up? What up? What up? What up? But my whole point on this is more so about, let me make sure that y'all can hear me. I mean, I understand. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. It's not so much about like what the criticism is about last year when it came to the AAA games for Xbox. That's fine. Like I've said a million times, like it is warranted for people to be upset that Xbox didn't have a big year. But like I made that video last week, when people came to the assumption of saying that last year was Xbox's worst year ever, that's why I pointed out the years where they were the worst years ever for Xbox, which was last gen. I got hair right there. I think that's my wife's hair. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but but my thing with this is sometimes the scrutiny, it goes way too far. Way too far, because now it's gotten to the point to me. Again, this is why I call it my thoughts. I mean, people can definitely disagree. If they have something they want to say or discuss with me, by all means, come on GRG, we can have that discussion. I welcome it. But where I have the biggest problem with is that what's going on, Elite, is this scenario is where everything is out of pocket. Okay, so case in point. Okay, so I seen a tweet from from Ryan Caffrey last year when it came about right after the VGAs. It said it was a missed opportunity because it was the biggest show, in the biggest gaming venue in the world, which is true. Now E3 has not been around for 3 years. And the last time that E3 was at its max, and then the VGAs came out, E3 won. E3 is still the mecca. Let's not get that out the way. I mean, the VGAs is increased. Maybe these 3 years things will definitely be different because E3 is now got to get back to where it was, into a lot of gamers' eyes. And the VGAs has kind of set the tone in a sense, which I believe that Jeff Keighley has been trying to do that. But to me, I just feel like when the mecca really starts rolling, and now the new people that's behind E3, I think E3 is going to get back to being the biggest platform to show games as it once was. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but if it's popping this year, you know what I'm saying, which I definitely plan on being there. I'm excited. That it's one of those things for me. It's like, you know what I'm saying? If it's popping, then the next year E3 will get back to where it was. But my whole point with all that is that what Ryan McCaffrey said on that, like, and you know, I know I said I wasn't going to say names, but that's just something that he said. I'm talking about other gamers and other content creators out there. That like, I'm in a lot of DMs, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to expose what people have been saying. It just blows my mind. Even so much that I've even seen Tim Dog post something. You know, and Tim Dobb is pretty neutral like I am. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Look, we got our love for Xbox, things like that. And Xbox deserves its credit. It's scrutiny from time to time, no doubt about it. But having an announcement, like I get the Oreo things, I rolled my eyes when I seen it. I'm like, oh my God. But again, it's not for us. It's not for the hardcore. That's for the general audience out there that will look and see Xbox on the label. It's no different than when I seen somebody post something and saying, well, why Xbox can't do this? PlayStation went out there and posted this on Times Square, posted Call of Duty on Times Square. Well, I'm not in New York. I didn't see it. Like, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this whole approach, because you feel a certain way, that this broad brush should be on, everybody should feel the same way that you do. That's not how the world works. That's not how it is. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say? What you saying, Cypher? He says, my thing is, you can criticize, make some pointers, make some points, etc. But if you can overdo it, if you're trying to speak for me, then that's where I see the problem. Absolutely, that's the thing. Like, don't speak for me. Speak for yourself. Which that's fine. There's content creators that speak for themselves, and they do it in creative ways and things of that nature. That's fine, right? Like, I mean, everybody's going to have their different opinion and things like that. But what I don't like is that other people gets pissed off at other people for not agreeing with them. I don't care. I don't give two damns if you don't agree with anything that I say. I don't care, because I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Slayer, you know this. You've been on the podcast. I don't care. I will have my battle with you all day, all night long. If I feel stern about something, I do not bend. I do not bend. Now, if I'm wrong about things, which I'm human, of course I'm going to be wrong, then I will admit to it. This day and era, I just don't see people taking that step forward of acknowledging when they're wrong. There's very few people that do that nowadays. We're giving out this misinformation, talking all these crazy things. Like, there was somebody that posted yesterday that, and I knew it was BS right the moment when I seen it, but I was like, hold on, I need to look and see if this is true or not. But then people was already debunking it right in the bat and said, this is not true. This person, and then the person that made it up said, this person ran with this as to be the first one to drop some content, and then boom, it's a lie. I just made it up. See, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about, right? And what happened was that the person that made it up said that Microsoft has decided to not put out Starfield, and they're going to put Avowed in its place. I've never heard anything like that with any game. Nevertheless, with this, and see, that's the problem. That's what's going on. And then, when I'm going through the DMs, there was a couple of people that was believing that shit. And then, it's a fail. It's an L. Oh my God. Why? What's wrong with Microsoft? Why they can't get out their own way? This is trash. Wait a minute. Hold on. So going back to what Ryan McCaffrey was saying about the VGAs, and then of course there's been other people that's in the gaming media that will bring up the point of saying that, well, it's crazy how quiet Xbox is. Xbox needs to say something. Things need to happen. It's only 10 damn days when it was posted, it was only 5 days within the year. Like into this month, it's only been 5 days. Like, get people get back to work, get adjusted. I mean, it's not like at Microsoft that the people were working 24/7 every day, all through the holidays. Like they came in back to work on the first, second, third, whenever, and they got to get adjusted. They got to catch up on things, everything. And already you want information. See, that's another problem too, is that we are in a time where there is no patience. There is none. And I get that because I remember back in the days, right? Like before I even really got started into the YouTube thing, and I used to listen to BGST and stuff like that. And then after BGST, there was other podcasts that I used to listen to, of course. But there was very few. I used to listen to my boy B Shadows. There was other podcasts that was around. Very seldom though. It wasn't nothing like this, right? Like at this time and era. But when you wanted more game content, like damn, there ain't nothing else going on. Well, I'm just get back to listening to my music, playing the game. But you back in your head, you kind of like, man, I would like to hear another podcast or another something or something else, because you didn't really at that time had gamers associate with something that you enjoyed to listen to. You know what I mean? So it was more the thing of you just wanted to feel enjoy listening to something, to a hobby that you enjoy, because most likely, just like with everybody else, maybe your significant other or your family, certain friends, aren't into gaming like you are. So it's good to hear it from other people that are adults that you're like, oh man, I want to hear some more. And then there's rumors and there's speculation and all this stuff and the banter and all that. At that time, I get it. Now there's plenty. You know what I'm saying? It's plenty. You know what I'm saying? What he said, he started it. He said, I'm still waiting for an insider to say Starfield is broken and switched to UV5. Oh my God, Elite, you being messy. What up, Callie? But that's the thing though, right? Okay, so Xbox didn't present themselves in the VGAs, right? All right, and it made some seem puzzling, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of like, if Xbox wants to show something going into not going into the year with something that was going on in 2022, because because maybe from their standpoint is that they're thinking like 2022 was a bad year for them on the exclusive front for them, right? Not for the year, but for the exclusive front. Let's get past 2022. And let's look forward to what the big year is that a lot of people are anticipating is a big year, and that's 2023. And let's kick it off with a show. It was something that I said, and then other people started bringing it. Well, they weren't listening to what I was saying, but I was over here making the thought process of saying, look, it just makes sense for Xbox to have a show sometime next year. Or if they wanted to do it at the end of December or whatever, but if they wanted to do it and present some of the games that they're going to be coming out with, I think that would be smart. And sure enough, then, the things started rolling around. Xbox already had this in place. I mean, because these things are well in advance than me just bringing it up in like November, right? So late November. I just look at this as a smart decision so they can have their time. So then it comes into this, right? So we got people that will say that came up and said Xbox has been too quiet. Well, now Xbox broke this out. Of course, they did the Oreo thing or whatever, and then people made jokes about that, which totally understandable, right? Like I said, I rolled my eyes too, like, oh my God, whatever. But it's not for me. It's not for us, the hardcore. But then then Aaron Greenberg, Paul Sound says, look, man, it's going to be soon, hey, we got some things popping up. So I'm looking at that. So I got the big eyes popping up like, okay, here we go. So obviously, and then Jez posted that they were going to have a show. I think he posted that and talked about that a couple of weeks ago or whatever. But again, we now know that they're going to have a show, and it's most likely going to be on the 20th. It's supposed to be on the 25th. And shout out to Mitchie, because when I posted it, Mitchie caught on to something, because on the article it said Sunday, but the 25th is on a Wednesday. So obviously it's probably going to most likely be on a Sunday. So it'll be most likely on the 22nd, or it'll be that week after, which will probably be, which is on a Sunday. There we go. Damn. Yeah. My wife's hair. Good grief. Man. Good grief. Jesus. Okay. There we go. Yeah, the 20th. What's that? The 25th. Oh, that's that following Sunday after. Before it's the 22nd or the 29th. Now it could be sometime. Now it could be on the 25th on a Wednesday, but it ain't on a Sunday. So regardless of that or whatever, if it's on the 25th, then that's a Wednesday. If it's going to be on a Sunday, then it'll be on the 22nd or the 29th. But regardless of all that, we got information coming, right? That sounds great, right? Obviously, to some people, it's not. Because I'm looking at these DMs, man. I'm in these DMs and I'm just observing because that's what I mostly do all the time. Like every once in a while I'll say something or whatever, but for the most part I just observe because it's just like whatever. And a lot of times I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And so, I don't keep up because, some of them will go all day, all night, 24 hours a day. It's nuts to me. But then it came into where the thing of where it was, Starfield was not going to be announced. This is a failure. Xbox needs to do better. Come on, bro. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? And then that turns into where we finally get the information that people have been asking for. And then it turns into, well, Xbox needs to do better. This is ridiculous. They got to tell us something. I don't know why they won't tell us what's going to. The one thing that I will say about Xbox gamers compared to anybody else is that they put stipulations on themselves more so than any other company. Any other of these gaming companies, they don't put the same type of stipulations on Nintendo. They don't on PlayStation. And then the first excuse that they'll say is that, well, I don't care about Nintendo or PlayStation. But you're still putting on these stipulations. If you're going to keep that same energy, right? Keep the same energy. Because right now, what you're doing is that you're hamstringing everything that Xbox is trying to do. For what purpose? For your satisfaction of knowing that to get a date? I get you on that. But then there was somebody that this was absolutely a lie. Said PlayStation gave an exact date when God of War was going to come. They did it 6 months in advance. No, they did not. No, they did not. They did not. They did not say it 6 months in advance. It was in the summer. Now, I don't know if it was August or if it was September when they actually gave because it wasn't July. It was not July because a lot of people was wondering like, whoa, we need to know something. You know what I'm saying? We need to know something. And then that came with the speculation if God of War was going to actually come out in 2022 because of the fact that they take it so long. So if it was a couple of months, it was about 4 months at the max, but it wasn't 6 months. Now we knew, and see another thing too, right? This is the discussion that I've had with Pred and so many others out there, right? Is that when people come out and say, well, just show us a trailer or something, show us something, give us a picture or something or whatever. And I've made this point a million times. It may work for PlayStation, it may work for Nintendo, but that doesn't work for Xbox. And my reason and my point, like I said, I'm not showing names. There was somebody that posted and said, and I'm not, you know what I'm saying, because I was some of them I might go and read, but I'm not, but I just remember this off of the top of my head, was that Xbox showed Hellblade back in 2018. Back in 2020. Back in 2020. Why do we not see anything else from Hellblade? We just seen something in 2021. Then they said, we seen a trailer for Perfect Dark and for Fable way back when. And we haven't heard anything else. Goes to my point to what I said. I like what Xbox strategy is about taking their time on showing the stuff when it is ready. You show trailers 4 or 5 years in advance, it isn't going to work because you're going to have two different type of people that'll come out and say something, right? You'll have the one group that will be hype. Everybody will be hype, of course, right? Because we knew that Fable was coming back. We knew that Perfect Dark is coming back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But you want these games to be big time titles, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take a long time. So now you're in this place where, well, I need to know something. Well, if they're not allowing Matt Booty or anybody else to show with Fable or whatever else because they're not ready to show anything yet. That there might be a reason behind that. And maybe that's probably going into what's going on and saying, look, the game is not ready. The game might not be ready until 2025. So then you showed this game 5 years later. 5 years ago, if it's 2025, the game comes out. At this point, you're burnt out. Listen, I get it. You know what I'm saying? When Xbox was in a bad position back in 2017, 2018, I get it. Showing us anything, giving us a nugget to anything was better. It's not the case now. It's not the case. And just to think about, just what we'd had a taste of in 2021. Like, people come to this thought process of thinking like Xbox has not delivered at all in 2021. At all. You know what I'm saying? Let me read what Tripster60 said. He says, I think we need to look deeper. It's not about the time it takes to make a game. It's about what they are doing with that time. Then that's fine. But again, here we go with stipulations. If you ask PlayStation to do that, cool. If you ask Nintendo to do that, cool. But they don't get that same type of energy. Like, and I don't want to hear this stuff because pick one. Pick a side. Either you're neutral and you buy every console and you play every console and you play as many games as possible on everything, or you're just primarily a bit of Xbox guy. But you got to pick one because the same people that says this stuff are the same ones that'll tell you that they buy and play everything. So you got to keep the same energy regardless. That's why when I say, look, Starfield being delayed, fine, no problem. Anything else needed to be delayed? We knew that now we know Halo Infinite needed to be delayed. Halo Infinite probably didn't need to come out until now. I even gave it grace to say it should have came out the first quarter of last year, but it should have been dropping December of 2022 in order to catch up on everything that they were behind in. So delays aren't a bad thing at all. And for people to take it and take that whole thing about delays and go crazy about it and get mad and disrespect people and do all that, ignorance, just absolute ignorance, right? Because they don't have the same energy for everything, for anything else, right? And so again, when you look at that, when you look at Xbox doing the same thing in the sense of saying, look, we want to make sure that these games come out and they're the best that they can be. This game is not ready yet. Do you want this game to come out just for gaming politics, or do you want that game to come out to be the best game that it can be? That's the question I got to ask people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Let me read what Deshaun said. Does the hardcore matter, K-Mega? Do you think Game Pass is for hardcore? They are so far behind the 360 or the original Xbox. Xbox fans still think it's 2004. Wake up. They are different and good. This is the thing for me, because this is where I said that this generation will get back to the glory days of what made the 360 so popular. But see, to each their own on how they feel about that. For me, for what made the 360 so amazing was because of the variety. And that to me was what it was about. And that's what the Xbox One lacked. It had great variety in the beginning, then it faltered. And then it just kind of came on to just holding on. Even and again, like I said last week, in 2017, 2018, there was some fun, dope ass games, but those games didn't hit the needle compared to what Nintendo and what PlayStation was offering in 2017, 2018. It did not even close. It pales in comparison. It was almost kind of, it would look like the national championship game that we seen last night where Georgia beat the hell out of TCU. You know what I'm saying? That was the comparison. You know what I'm saying? So even though, like I said, the Halo Wars 2, love that game. It's one of my favorite games, but it still didn't hold, State of Decay was fantastic, but it still didn't hold a candle to what the competition held, right? What Xbox didn't have was the variety of what we get now. And that's all due because of Game Pass, which makes Game Pass probably the most important factor to Xbox, more so than I say than anything else, because we know that the exclusives is going to come. And this is the one thing that too, there's that and again, this is gaming politics. Not everybody's going to go through Starfield 100% or get all the achievement or just beat the game. Not everybody will, but they'll brag about it. They'll brag about it. Not everybody's going to go through Forza. Not everybody's going to go through and spend a lot of time on Redfall. Not a lot of people's going to, when they get on Hellblade, if Hellblade is a 20-hour, 25-hour game, not everybody's going to do that. You'll probably have more people on Hellblade, and that's why I made my point when I was on Addicts podcast last month, where I was making a point where I feel that Hellblade will garner more attention than Starfield. I feel Starfield is in this category. It's humongous. Don't get me wrong. Like, both games are going to be stupendous, right? But I feel because what Xbox has been lacking for so many people, how they feel that what Xbox has been lacking is that third person, over the shoulder, beautiful graphics, right in your face, that movie type, just AAA banger. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel that Hellblade's going to garner that attention. While Starfield might become more critically acclaimed because of the fact it's so detailed, it's so rich. It's going to be a major success on PC. But not everybody's going to beat that game. That game is one of those big legacy titles that you just play and play and play. Just kind of like how I'm going through The Witcher 2 again. I'm taking my time. It's like a fine wine. All those new to life things that they've added to it, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm just taking my time. Just taking my time with The Witcher 3 this time around. Let's go around. So it's, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I'm going to play Starfield. I'm gonna take my time, and so again, like, there's gonna be my moments when I'm playing Starfield, or I play Call of Duty or whatever. But for the most part, I'm gonna be on Starfield when that goes, and I'm just gonna play the hell out of it. Not a lot of people are. So when you look at Game Pass and what they offer, that is substantial because of Wulong, and then of course just the games that's coming out, the Persona 4, Persona 5. I'm sorry, Persona 4, Persona 3. Then you got the Stormbreaker. I think that's what the Monster Hunter. And then of course everything else that's going to be called Atomic Heart and all these other games that's going to be dropping. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts, right? So it's just, for me, like, the variety is what made for me the 360 most amazing. Of course, it was the games that, like the Halos, the Gears that came out. So Starfield could be could get in that genre, that space. If Starfield is as legit as what people think that it's going to be, definitely that's Xbox new Gears. I feel that Redfall, if Redfall is going to be more like Borderlands, I think that's going to be a fantastic success for that. I think that game's going to really hit. Because I really do like Borderlands. I wasn't a Borderlands fan during the 360. I played Borderlands 3 and fell in love with that franchise. So, and I do kind of want to go back and play the other two, but I'm not going to have too time. There'll be something that'll happen years down the line. But I just look at that and see that's the greatness of Xbox at that point. And I feel like that the Series X is getting to that point. All they need is just to have these titles just drop. And then once the titles drop, I think that everything falls in a row. And then at that point, we'll finally stop talking about the ABK deal, because we'll know by that point that the deal most likely will probably be done, regardless of however the FTC looks at it. We'll find out about how that situation goes. But regardless, the ABK deal will be done, because people won't care as much, because the games that people have been anticipating will drop. So, I mean, I'm going to be on Forza like nobody's business. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know, it's my obligation to talk about the ABK deal because because of the podcast and things like that. But other than that, when people will come into the party and want to start talking, nah, bro, I'm playing this game, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to be worried about all that. So that part, and that's to me, it's why I don't understand why people are having a problem with this. And then another thing too, that where people were having a problem. Well, Xbox needs to come out and they need to say that Starfield's going to have its own show. You can't sit there and not show Starfield. Bro, I get it. And maybe there's some exhaustion, right? Because people were going hard in the paint for Starfield before anybody seen anything about Starfield. I was not one of them. I'm like, I got to see something. You can't just show me a door and a part of a ship and a man in the background to make me get hyped for what this game is. I don't know what it is. While other people, Starfield. Nah, bruh, I don't know what this is. It's got a cool concept. I'm liking what I'm hearing, but I don't know nothing about it. And then when they finally released the trailer, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm with it. I'm cool with it. But I do not, but you know what I'm saying? But again, it's just kind of like what I think that what Xbox is looking at it from like this, because I think that what they're saying is going to be like a direct, like the Nintendo Direct style, you know, and that's another thing too. Xbox is trying to find that place to where the community don't complain. Because as much as I enjoyed XO, there was some cringe moments in I'm not XO, I'm sorry, but inside Xbox, there was definitely cringe moments. And then the people did too much talking, too much this, too much that, right? Okay, so they cut that, they scrapped that, even though I enjoyed it. But again, I'm not the majority, and I'm not going to paint a broad brush and say, well, everybody else will like it, right? Then, you know, they're doing something else. So now they're trying to do, I guess, the Nintendo Direct style or whatever. And then the first thing I'm seeing when I'm reading in the comments, well, I hope they don't talk too much. Just show us something to keep it going. But you know what? Even with the PlayStation community, even when they have those PlayStation, those little PlayStation showcases, they'll say trash, horrible, blah, 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 blah. If there's no satisfaction, it seems like nobody gets any satisfaction anymore. It's like if you don't say something is bad, it must mean that you're out of touch, you out of pocket. I don't get it. So again, if Xbox is trying to find that medium, that happy medium to try to appease people and still keep the hype going, and so if they do this Nintendo Direct style type of thing, so be it. If they do like a PlayStation showcase thing, so be it. Do what you must. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, and so Starfield is going to be that game of the year, unless, you know what I'm saying, well, even if you look at it from the standpoint of, let's say, because I'm hoping that Hellblade 2 comes out this year. But they will definitely put Starfield will get its own place. And if Hellblade does come, then Hellblade's going to get its own, you know, 15, 20, 30 minute show or whatever. And a little event, showcase, whatever. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. But why do you got to announce that when you're trying to announce the other games that's coming out? Let Starfield come, you know what I'm saying, have its moment when Starfield is ready. You know what I'm saying? Listen, again, these stipulations that Xbox gamers put on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, okay, well, 2022 was an awful year. Okay, you have your opinion of saying that. Okay, so why was it such a bad year for you? Well, I'm not a person that likes Game Pass. Okay, gotcha. So I don't want to play, so I like buying my games. Okay, gotcha. Well, these games are getting too expensive. They don't go down in price quick enough. Okay. Well, I only play exclusives. Okay. Okay. Why Xbox doesn't have VR yet? I don't know. Phil Spencer said that he was going to do VR. He did. But VR's not here. Maybe he's seen something different. I don't know. Well, I don't know why they're not announcing anything. Well, they did announce some things. I mean, you know, back a couple of months. That's not good enough. You can never win. So if you know what I'm saying, if you listen to all those stipulations, and then also, like, well, there's some other hot games that came out this year that was third party. You know, that, you know what I'm saying, Requiem and Midnight Suns, and well, not Midnight Suns, and then there was Gotham Knights, and that's 30 frames per second. I don't play 30 frames per second games. Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You put all them stipulations on yourself. That's your business. That almost sounds like a woman that you see on these TikTok videos and things like that. It's talking about a man got to have this, got to have that, got to have this, got to have that, got to have this, and got to have that. But she ain't doing shit for herself, but sitting here just look fine. No, I don't know what to tell you. Bruh, I don't know what to tell you. See, as a gamer, I buy these consoles to play games, to be entertained. It's my hobby for me to jump into these games and get immersed into their worlds. I don't care if everybody's got some kind of stipulations. I get it. But the one thing to me that also is tripping out is about the whole 30 frames per second thing. Like, how many times are we going to keep talking about this? We've been talking about this for 13, 14 years now. It ain't going to change. I seen Jazz post something today. It was saying, what if they made what if the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox made a super pro version of a console, and it was 4K 120 frames, but it cost $1,000. Well, you know what I could do? I could just go ahead and I could buy, I could upgrade my my GPU and call it a day. Because that's all I need to do. Well, no, I need to give me a 4K monitor. But I can use my TV. I don't know. No, listen. Even if you did have that console, right? Even if you had that console, and even if, you know what I'm saying, and listen, there would be hardcore that would definitely pay for that. It would not move an inch, but it would be people there would definitely be hardcore that would pay for it, right? Like, I would even almost look at it and say, But you know what? It would always just go back to saying, look, there's still going to be a 30 frames per second game. Because when the new game comes out and it's 30 frames per second and they don't got no patch for it yet, you're still going to have to play that bad boy at 30 frames per second. You ain't going to avoid it. This generation, you're not going to avoid the 30 frames per second. It's going to be another game that's going to be coming out that's going to be 30 frames per second until they patch it up or whatever the case may be. It's not leaving, folks. It's not leaving. I do agree that there should be options, a performance mode and then a whatever ray tracing and whatever else mode, resolution mode. But to just be done with 30 frames per second, developers, they know how to work their games, man. And if they feel that 30 frames per second at this point in time is what is what effective, then that's fine. Because you know what? From what I've seen, when people was over there dogging out Gotham Knights, when people start playing it, yeah, that game is good. And then of course, when people talking about Requiem, there's not one person I know that's not said anything bad about Requiem. Matter of fact, I don't think there's anybody that said anything bad about Gotham Knights when they started to play Gotham Knights. Now, there was a lot of hate and disrespect to the devs and to that beforehand because it was the 30 frames and didn't have a 60 frames, whatever. But again, that's divisive in the Xbox community, right? I don't know, man. I just think that overall, is that as a community, right? It takes everyone. I get it. And I'd say, like I said, the scrutiny, it's fine. But when you overstep the bounds of the scrutiny, when it comes to everything is a doom and gloom scenario, it's tiring. It is very tiring. I almost left a couple of those DMs, man. I was like, bro, are you kidding me? Come on. Like, damn, you was just the other day talking about, man, we need to, you know what I'm saying? If we hear something about it, I'll be hyped, I'll be this and that. But then you didn't hear about Starfield. And I guess because you heard some stands go crazy and start, what's going on with Starfield? And then they come out and make up any damn thing and say Starfield's getting canceled or something. You take that to heart. So I don't know, man. Right, Elite. The game is fire. The game is fire. After I get done with The Witcher, that's where I'm going to go back to is Gotham Knights. Because what I was going to do was stream me playing Gotham Knights. But again, I got caught up and I got my surgery date and all that, and so that kind of fell out. And then I was like, all right, well, let me try to beat Midnight Suns before, and I did beat Midnight Suns, but not I beat Midnight Suns like the week before last. The thing to me is this: that I just look at this whole situation with between the Xbox community and this infighting garbage. Is that I don't think it's going to end, because I think a lot of people I think there's people out here that really pretends to want to be a part of the Xbox community in a sense, but they love the chaos. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, there will be people that will tell me, well, you're just trying to stand up for a corp. I'm not standing up for a corporation. I just get tired of people making crybaby ass points when it's not even that big of a deal. Delays happen. Get over it. It's not like Xbox is the only company that does games that does delays. It's all across the board, and it was awful for the last 2 years. Awful. The delays were awful all across the board. And you know what I'm saying? And then well, we got to have it. Not, and then on top of that, when let's just say that this event comes out and they show what they're going to show, right? I guarantee you there's going to be a couple of them that's going to say that just wasn't that didn't do it for me. I don't know, man. I don't know. Something looked downgraded. Forza looked downgraded from when they showed from this. Well, Starfield, something's not right. I don't know, man. That it don't look like a AAA. Watch. It was mid. And now I'm not saying what the stands will say. I'm saying what some people in the Xbox community will say. And I wondered, like, do they really just do this to just say just shit like that? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to happen. I don't know. For me, I think personally, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's tiring. It's not going to go away, though. It's just not. And that's what goes to my point about Adam Sessler right quick. Is he went out of bounds. I think he just had it. Honestly, I think the man just had it. I think what's going on with him was that, and to me, it was the golden era of gaming when it came to gaming news. When you had game trailers, when you had Jeff Keighley, doing game trailers, you had the Michael Pachter segment and, G4 and all the other ones that was in between and before. That era was because it was more of a thing to where they tell you something and you as the consumer made the decision on which product that you wanted to get. And it started to change right when, you know what I'm saying? And even there, you know what I'm saying, when the YouTube era started, it was more kind of like that. You had content creators that was sounding like these, like you know what I'm saying, like the Adam Sesslers and the Morgan Webbs and all them, right? Like, it was more objective. Not objective. I'm sorry. It was more, you make the decision of what you want, right? But we're just going to give you the pros and cons of that. We're not going to pick a side. We're not going to give you a wink on this, a wink on that. We're just going to give you what's the pros and cons with each, and then you decide. Because as gamers, you should support all of this, and we want to praise gaming as a whole. That's why to me it was the golden era, because it's nothing like that now. But once back when it got like when it all started, like, and I know that there was others out there, but I just remember with Angry Joe and how that changed, and he knew where his toast was going to be buttered when he went ahead and started changing up to PlayStation and started talking about DRM and all this other stuff, because that's when I kind of started paying attention to the YouTube stuff, and I'm like, damn, wow. Like, he was all Xbox, and now all of a sudden, but he knew, you know what I'm saying? He's a businessman. He knew this stuff. So he changed up, and all of a sudden, you've seen IGN start to change. You start to see all these other entities start to change. And it seemed like when these personalities started to thrive into the gaming space, they were more objective. And so it seemed like the media was like, well, we got to try to get ahead of this. And then we got to be objective. And then I remember when Adam Sessler came back, and then they did review games or revive games or something like that. I forgot the name of it, but I used to watch it all the time. And I remember the very first time that there was this guy with glasses, the dark haired guy, and he was a PC guy. and he just roasted Xbox, right? I would never buy an Xbox. I would never play. Whoa, hold on. And I'm sitting back like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that your job to be just that out there like that? Like, tell me you don't like Xbox without telling me you like it. But instead, he said it. Like, and the other people on the panel was looking at him like, damn. Okay, you know, like, that's not what the show, and then, you know, that show lasted, yeah, I still kept watching it and stuff like that or whatever. And then that show went away. So then you come and you fast forward and you look at now the era of content creating, and it is king. There's nothing touching it in that space. So then G4 comes back and they try to be shock and awe, kind of like how content creators, a lot of content creators are now. And it just didn't work. And I think I think he knew that was his last hurrah. And I think that it broke him. Because if you remember, you go all the way back to when he was on G4 and he was being objective and he was saying what he felt, and he felt that Xbox had the better lineup than PlayStation 4, and that man got death threats, and it was so bad to the point that he had to address it on his show. That was the very first start. And so you go back from then to there, and I know that he's been kind of loosey-goosey with the texts and things like that about that, and he's really strong in his politics and in his opinions and things like that. And I understand that he's not in the greatest of health and things like that or whatever. But the point of the matter, and he's an older guy too. So, you know, when you get older, you kind of just don't give a damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm getting up there too, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I'm not as old as him. But I think that just broke everything because they brought him back, and they thought that this was going to be the way to get people back into the television or streaming, or, you know what I'm saying, that this type of content could live again. And it's not. You know, everything happens in cycles. We could probably have, you know, that type of situation happen to where they could try to do it again in another 15, 20 years. But, and that's not going to be happening in Adam Sessler's career, because at that point, like, he's going to be really old and he ain't going to want to get back and to do that. So I think it's one of those things where it hit him. And, you know, when he posts things or whatever, and he just had his moment, it broke him. Where people keep constantly talking shit, berating you, over video games. If you knew half of the things, not all, but just half of the things that's been said to me over my stance about video games, you would like, what did you do to them? Do you know them? It is atrocious. Like, this is stuff that I would take somebody out to this red clay and bury their ass in for some of the stuff that they've said and tried to do. It's crazy. It's nuts. So the point of the matter is, overall, is that he hit his breaking point. Like I said, we'll talk about that more on GRG this week, Friday. But because I want to get at what everybody's thoughts process of it is. I know that, and me and Don will definitely talk about this on Devin the Gamer, which will be tomorrow. I just, you know, and Don is not a fan of Adam Sessler, so it'll be a very interesting, because I still am a fan of the man. I know that the man he's broken. He's broken. I mean, it broke him. It broke him, and he's not the only person that I know that's been broken behind the whole divisiveness and hate and disgusting behavior from certain people because they are free to talk to you any kind of way on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Oh, he supposedly had a mental breakdown in between 3 and G4. I can believe it. Like, I mean, I believe it. I definitely believe it. I think that the man is he's talented. He's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna honor and respect his work. But it broke him. You can only, I guess only, that's why I take the breaks that I do. You only take, you know what I'm saying? Look, I you know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody should have a break. Like, I see people driving themselves crazy, going balls to the wall. Got 4 or 5 podcasts going on, got this going on, got that going on. Good luck. You ain't going to sustain it. Promise you that. Because I did it. And not saying that I'm stronger than you mentally or something like that. No, it takes a lot out of you. And you still have family things to worry about. You still have real life obligations to worry about. You got all these other things, and you hustling and bustling, and you doing all these things. That's why, like I said, I take the breaks. It's okay. It's all right. Let people have some moment to have some clarity, to relax, get their mind right. And then when you look and you think about, and that's just doing podcasting and things like that. I know how hard that work is. But just think about the work that you got to do when you got to remember scripts, and you're writing your own material, and you're doing all of this and you're doing all of that. Bro, it is not only time consuming, but it's also wear and tear on your psychological. It is a different type of thing. That's why you see like those streamers and stuff like that, man, they go crazy and think it is a lot of wear and tear on you mentally. And it can wear and tear on you physically as well. Even if you see people that's thin and looks healthy, no, man, this is a different type of, and everybody wants to try to do it because they think that if that person can do it, then I can do it too. There's only a few that can do it for a long sustainable time, bro. You gotta learn how to balance it. And I think that Adam is just, because now at this point he's done. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. And us also, there's no coming back from, and we know that there is no reason for any type of outlet out there or anybody who has money that wants to try to revamp something that was like G4 or game trailers, etc. That stuff is dead and gone. That will not come. That not in our time. Like I said, 15, 20 years, there's always cycles, things happen, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I seen a commercial where somebody was wearing bell bottoms and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, they're trying to bring that back? But that was 40 years ago. that was damn near 40 years ago. So the content era is the thriving thing. And that's the thing. And the sad part is that there's the people that gives out misinformation, the people that just want to be loud and chaotic, because people love train wrecks. That's just what it is. When some people think that other people are having a worse day or a worse time than they are, people tend to listen and watch. And that's fine. But yeah, I feel bad for Adam. I do. But he was out of pocket. He shouldn't have said what he said. If he had a mental breakdown between Rev 3 and G4, then this was the top just completely blew. Maybe there was a little, maybe that was it was a little bit of a temper tantrum, some issues, but the top blew on this one. Cause I mean, he was doing that all day. And I was like, holy moly. So it's a tough deal, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel unfortunate for him, but again, he said all that stuff and he's got to live with that. And, all his credibility is gone in that sense. Not for me, because I respect the man's work. But for everybody else out there and people who don't, have given up on him and things like that. I mean, it's his bed. He got to lie in it. So it's a tough deal. It's a very tough deal. So, and I do too. I hate drama as well, Elite. I mean, listen, drama. I came into it starting off with the drama, and it was fun because I thought it was, as we just, just shit talking, we just having a good time, blah 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 blah, ha ha ha, and then we all at the end of the show we're talking, oh yeah, let's play a game, let's hang out, whatever. But the one thing that people don't understand is gaming politics behind it, and then you see that there's agendas, and then you see that the people that you think that they're your friends, they're not. And the people that you feel like you feel like you trust, or you tell them certain things, and then they use that against you. That's the sad thing about this whole situation, and the backstabbing, and that's why I kind of just stay in my lane. I don't. No. I've been doing this ever since 2014. I took that break off for a year, then joined with 100 and them with Intro Media Gaming, and when I came back a year and a month later or whatever, after, going through my real life situations, and then, been doing it ever since. But there's a lot of lessons learned in it. The one thing is like, well, in order for you to try to get to this kind of number, you want to grow your channel to be this and that. Then I come to just to realize I'm who I am. I'm not trying to change myself for nobody. People will join it. People will subscribe. People will listen. People will follow eventually. And that's how it is. It's been a slow grind, but but I've been doing it my way. And I think that's the positive thing for anybody that wants to try to get into it. You have to do it your way. You don't deter from what you feel. Now, of course, if you're not doing something now, I'm saying, if you got to build your content up in a certain way, if you're not entertaining, if you're not doing something, there's certain things, it's always good for people to critique, let always ask people, what can you do better with your channel and things like that? Because I do ask that, every so often. And what things that you would be, that you're passionate about, that you want to talk about, that you want to do, which that's some things that I'm planning on wanting to do here coming up here this year. So, but other than that, no, don't let anybody deter you from your plan. You got a plan, stick to it, let it work for you. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm happier than I've ever been, because I'm sticking to the plan. And you know what I'm saying? And if it's a slow grind, or if it all flaws, or even if it stops, I'll make the decision when I'm done. Nobody else makes that decision for me. So that's just my thing. But anyway, man, come on, Xbox gamers, get your head out your ass. Let's be cool about it. Let's entertain. It's 2023. This is what we've been waiting for. Now, if nothing drops in 2023 except for Forza, then of course we bring the pitchforks and the knives. I will help you light those torches up so we can go and find out what's going on. I'll talk to Phil himself. What is going on, Phil? But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that we're going to have a really, really, really great year. Better than 2021 by a mile. And then that's saying something. That's my personal opinion on it. And I can't wait. There's just so much content that's coming, and I feel that people just we worry a little bit we worry a little too much. Look and see what's in front of you. Like next week, or here in a couple of days, what was it? Shadow Warrior 3 comes out here in a couple of days. If you've not played Shadow Warrior 3, it's a really fun game. I have not got to beat it. I'm going to definitely go back and beat it, but it's fun. Quick. Then the week after that, you got Monster Hunter. Then you got the Personas. If you're not interested in that, Monster Hunter might be something that if you're not interested in that, then here we go. Here's the slate of games getting ready to start. And it start with Forspoken, even though you might not be interested in Forspoken. But there's other games out there that's going to be dropping. And I think it's Most Wanted. I'm copping that. I've been looking at that. I'm copping Most Wanted. So that's a game that I'm definitely looking forward to. And then that's what's going to be hurting my wallet. Because that's the beginning of the hurt of my wallet. I was looking at games in the store yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Let me hold this money back, because it's going to be coming in February, at the end of this month or in the beginning of February. It is an onslaught of major proportions of games coming out. And that's just in February. So just imagine what's going to be coming here going forward. And also there's DLC for fighters, and there's a season 2 that I think comes out tomorrow for King of the Fighters 15. So I gotta cop that. You know what I'm saying? That's bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway. But everybody, thank you for coming and checking out the podcast, or not so much a podcast, just a stream, as Callie would say. And it said Lost Judgment is true greatness right now. True fan, I need to play that. I have not played that yet. Wanted Dead. That's it. That's what Elite. That's the one I'm talking about. Wanted Dead. I said Wanted or some whatever I said. Most Wanted or some whatever. Wanted Dead. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. I'm copping that. Yes, what is it? Wanted Dead. I'm copping that. Boy, I can't wait. Anyway, until Devin the Gamer tomorrow. Be on next podcast Thursday on Xbox 448's channel. GRG pops back on Friday night. We'll be back. I can't wait to harass him solo, and if Logue drops in, I will definitely harass him too. Just because I want to. And Let's see. And then Fight Night Sunday, baby. We back to playing them fighters. I was getting a little nervous there because I couldn't maintain a stand, having long game sessions there for about 3 weeks. I'm like, oh man, if my gaming session, because I was trying to finish up Midnight Suns, and I was just like, oh my God, I would only play for like 3-4 hours and then get to it. But now I'm feeling good. I'm back. And I've been on The Witcher. I was on The Witcher all day. I played it like 12 hours straight. I loved it. Love every minute of it. Woo! Now I ain't gonna be playing Witcher 12 hours straight today, but I will definitely be playing a good 5-6. So anyway, till I go to bed tonight. Let's go. Everybody have a good one. I will see you guys soon. I probably will drop another video probably Friday morning. Before Friday noontime or something like that or whatever, to talk about some other stuff that's on my mind. So look out for that. You know what I'm saying? We back. We're here to do it. Hope you guys come and check it out. Peace.